Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for the 9th of June, or July, 2021. Yeah, that was a bad playthrough, but they've all been bad playthroughs. Not all of them, but a lot of bad playthroughs recently. I've been getting better again, which means pretty soon I'm going to have to start teaching classes or something so I can get worse again. Alright, so what have I been thinking about? So I did not fall. That's good. Okay. Alright, so I was telling you about going to the Quantizing Time conference, workshop, whatever it was. In this workshop, we put together two kinds of people. Those kinds of people are people from the Quantum Foundations community and people from the quantum gravity community, because those are two places where time becomes important. This is not the world's greatest one of these guys. Let's see what's behind here. Ooh. Let's see if I can do the fire dance. Invitation doesn't work. Ah, I got it here. So I successfully completed the fire dance. Staff, obstruction 3, blinking 3, discord 3, poison 3. Okay. So I do have something offensive no matter what. Oh, this is a very nice first level. 3 of these vaults. Okay, so why does time come into these two sets of these two different communities? All right, so for quantum gravity, I think I've talked about this, maybe not. Time comes in because quantum gravity is really extending set of poison, set of tunneling. G-I-K computer, all right? So for quantum gravity is trying to sort of quantize space-time, right? It's continuing the relativity project, and oh yeah, I was talking a lot about special relativity and general relativity, and then I died. So the thing that Einstein did to make gravitation compatible with special relativity, where, you know, I waste a little bit of time because I'm darkened. Where in special relativity we find that the laws of nature don't care how fast you're going, basically, right? And the big key to that, as I was saying before, was all this crap with the I have to go through the that way. All this stuff with Maxwell's equations more or less. Maybe I should use the tunneling. They involve the speed of light, right? But it basically didn't care that got another ring of light. Didn't care how fast you were going, or it didn't matter how fast you were going. The speed of light basically had to stay the same. And that was a little odd, right? Obviously, you had some choices what you wanted to get rid of. You didn't have to sit around and decide you wanted to change how you viewed space and time because of that. But it turns out what we would probably consider the best way to interpret that these days. Turns out special relativity. We ended up with special relativity, which said that you would, I don't know where these guys are going. Or are they just trying to get into trouble? So what we learned was that special relativity, or what we learned was that the speed of light was constant for everyone who was moving at a constant speed in what we call an inertial reference frame. So all of physics is more or less described to work in one of these things that I just called an inertial reference frame. A very strange place. Actually, that's not a strange place for a toad. And so you had to sort of change the basics of physics just a little bit. That little bit is you got rid of what we now call absolute space-time, which is actually an innovation of Newton's, right? And because of that, we were able to get physics in the first place. So It's not really an awful thing. It's just not the thing we were thinking of. Just changes what we think of. As what is the correct sort of geometry. So we end up with this strange geometry. We call it sort of Minkowskian geometry, a flat geometry. So it's still a flat space. It's still what we call a flat space-time, but we intermix space and time a little bit, rather than having as the consistent part of our theory of the geometry of space being space and time are always the same and uniform and stuff like that. We say that the speed of light is the same, but we keep other things like the theory of relativity, or not the theory, what we call the theory of relativity, but instead the postulate of relativity. Crap. Splint mill was good. I wasn't using my stuff. I was just wandering around bumping things. So we have that postulate of relativity, and that gives us this sort of malleable space-time. Okay. Problem is, it doesn't work with gravity. More on that next time.